Now we will see the first part of unit number 1. So these are the contents of unit number 1. Introduction to DSP, frequency domain, description of signals and system, discrete time sequence system, linearity unit samples response, convolution, time invariant system, stability criteria for the discrete time system, solution of linear difference equation. So we will start with our basic review of what we have seen in the signals and system, and then we will again continue our discussion for the latter part of this unit. Okay, so we will continue our discussion. See here, an analog continuous time signal is given. So this is our unit 1. In unit 1 we have seen this such type of signals. Now if it is applied to A to D converter, that is analog to digital converter, then we will get the discrete time signal. And what is the difference between continuous time signal and discrete time signal? It is shown in this diagram. Okay, this diagram shows the difference between continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So between 0 and 1, at 0 there is amplitude 1, at 1 there is amplitude 0.588. okay, then between 5 and 6, at 5 the value of amplitude is 0, and at 6 the value of amplitude is 0.809. So between 5 and 6 there are no any values. So this is the difference between continuous time signal and discrete time signal. A continuous time signal is defined at each and every instant of time. See, there is no any gap between the amplitude, but when it comes to the discrete time signal, then you will find that amplitude is present at discrete time intervals. The discrete time intervals are nothing but values of n. So very important difference between the two, continuous time signal and discrete time signal. Here the variable is t, small t is the variable, and here variable is n. Okay, so and the device which does this is known as the A to D converter. Okay, now so this slide or this discussion will help you to understand the difference between continuous time signal and discrete time signal. Okay, so here is the example of discrete time signal. That is, if there is a temperature of Pune city that it is recorded every year in the March. So at 1988, at 1989, at 1990, up to this one. So how we plot the graph? So we will plot the graph. So at 1988, 29 degrees Celsius. Okay. At 1989 directly the temperature is raised so temperature is raised up to 30 degrees Celsius. Let us say this is 30.1 and this is 29 and so on. Variable is n. N is year, x of n is the temperature. See here, you will get this concept. And which month we have recorded this? We have recorded this in the month of March every year. So between 1988 and 1989 there is no any, only March month is given importance here, other months are neglected. So what is the discrete value? 1988 in the month of March 29.2. Directly we will move ourselves into 1989 again in the month of March 30.1. Between these two values of n there is no any month, means only we are giving importance to the month of March. Okay, so this is the concept of discrete time signal. Now, how to represent the discrete time signal, we will see from this example. A discrete time signal is defined as x of n equals to 1 plus n by 3, x of n equals to 1, x of n equals to 0. Here there are values of n given. Okay, so this is known as the functional representation of the discrete time signal. Okay, this is known as the functional representation of the discrete time signal. Okay, so now we have to convert this into the sequence form. Sequence form is known as the another representation. By means of example, we will see this. Now the definition is given equal to x of n equals to 1 plus n by 3 from minus 3 to minus 1. So what we do, we will put the value n equals to minus 3, then we will get 0, n equals to minus 2, then we will get 1 by 3, n equals to minus 1, then we will get 2 by 3. So this is for minus 3 to, this is for minus 3 to what, minus 1. Okay, now for 0 to 3 what we are having, these values, x of 0 equals to 1, x of 1 equals to 1, x of 2 equals to 1, and x of 3 equals to 1. And for other values, that is less than or equal to minus 4, see this, for this x of n equals to 0, and for greater than 4, 5, 6, x of n equals to 0. Okay, so this is known as the sequence form. So how the sequence form is represented? This is the sequence form, and at the 0th sample we give the arrowhead. So at 0 we are having 1, so the next values are 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Here minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and so on. Okay, okay, so this arrowhead represents the 0th sample. If the arrowhead is not provided in the sequence form, then the arrowhead is assumed to be at the position first. So this is the sequence form. First one we have seen the what, functional form, and this one, this is known as the graphical representation of the discrete time signal. Okay, remember this very important diagram, graphical representation, because we will use this diagram in this unit. Okay, we just prefer representation of discrete time signal by this method or by graphical method. We avoid the functional representation as well as the tabular representation. We prefer these two. Why? Because it is very easy to understand. Okay, so this slide gives us information about what, representation of the discrete time signal by means of sequence form. This is known as the sequence form, and this is known as the graphical form. First one is functional form. Okay, now we will see this example show that the discrete time sinusoid signal is periodic only if its frequency f0 can be represented as the ratio of two integers, that is f0 is a rational. Now a discrete time signal x of n is given. What we have to do, it should be sinusoid. Sinusoid means either cos or sine. So what is the periodicity condition for the periodicity? It is x of n plus n equals to x of n. So what we have what should we do? We have taken the cosine wave x of n equals to cos 2 pi f0 n plus theta. Now we replace the n by n plus n from the both side. So we get this one. A periodicity, what is the condition for the periodicity? This is the condition. So if x of n plus n equals to x of n, so what we do, we equate these two equations. So from the two equations it is clear that a will be getting cancelled, cos we will getting cancelled, then we get twice pi f0 plus twice pi f0 n plus theta. So twice pi f0 n, twice pi f0 n is cancelled, theta is cancelled. So what is the remaining part? That is this extra part. What is extra part? Twice pi f0 n should be equals to 2 pi, and the k is for the discrete time signal. Okay, so f0 should be k by n. That is the case of the periodicity. This ratio should be ratio of two integers free from decimal point. Okay, either you write cos or you write sine, both are the same, because sine and cos are only 90 degree apart, so there is no any issue, and cos is very easy to understand. That's why we preferred cos, or as well as in the textbook cos is written. Okay, so this is the very important discussion, and same thing we have derived in the unit number 1, only the difference is k was not present that time. Here you will see the k. Okay, now these are the some examples. See here, the first example, cos of 0.09 pi n. Here omega is 0.0 pi, omega is twice pi f. So what is f? When you calculate f, the value of f is 1 upon 200. It is the ratio of two integers. Therefore the given signal cos of 0.01 pi n is periodic. Okay, because it is the ratio of the two integers. Then we will move next. Here the omega is 3 pi, value of f is omega by 2 pi, f equals to 3 by 2. Again ratio of the two integers, so the given signal is periodic. Then sine 3n, omega is 3, f equals to omega by 2 pi, f equals to 3 by 2 pi. But what is the value of pi? It is 3.14 and so on, because it is only correct to the two decimal points. So it is not ratio of the two integers. See here, it is not an integer. F cannot be expressed as the ratio of two integers, therefore the signal is non-periodic. Okay, getting this? Now next, now let us say there is a multiplication of the two signals. So what we do in this case, we calculate both the omegas, omega 1, omega 2. So f1 is 1 upon 16 pi, f2 is f2 is 1 upon 16. So it is not ratio of the two integers. So f1 is not ratio of two integers, therefore is not periodic. But in place of f2 we are getting 1 by 16. So f2 is the ratio of two integers, with hence is periodic. The given signal is the product of non-periodic signal and periodic signal, hence the product signal is non-periodic. See, at is the product of the two signals. In these two signals, first signal, that is cos n by 8, is aperiodic, whereas cos pi n by 8 is periodic, and it is the product of the two signals. Therefore what will happen? It is the product of periodic as well as non-periodic signals, so the resultant signal will be non-periodic. Now there are some standard signals as we have discussed in the unit number 1. First one is the unit sample sequence. This is the graphical representation. 2.31 is the functional representation. So what is del of n? It is 1 at n equals to 0, and it is 0 other way, everywhere other than n equals to 0. This is the sequence representation. Okay, functional, sequence, and third one is the graphical representation. And tabular representation is very simple. I will show you tabular representation, value of n, value of del of n. Okay, so 0, minus 1, 1. At 0 there is 1, at minus 1 the value of del of n is 0, at 1 value of 1 0. So this is the tabular representation, that is the code representation, but we prefer sequence representation and graphical representation. So this is the unit sample sequence, which is very important, del of n. In unit 1 we have seen the del of t. Next is the unit step sequence. Unit step sequence you always know, at n greater than or equal to 0 all are 1, and for n less than 0 all are 0. Okay, this is graphical representation, and this is the sequence representation, and this is the functional representation. Okay, so, and tabular representation, again you know how to write the tabular representation. We don't use that tabular representation. Then the unit RAM sequence, it is UR of n, it is also known as R of n. Okay, so it is n for n greater than or equal to 0 or 0. So this is the sequence form, this is graphical form. Same thing we have discussed in unit number 1. So there is no any issues with this. Then an exponential signal, this is the decaying exponential when a is less than 1, and if a is greater than 1 the exponential signal will increase. Okay, now we will see few examples prove that del of n equals to u of n minus u of n minus 1. This is u of n, this is u of n minus 1, and the u of n minus 1 comes out to be del of n. Then del of n equals to del of k, summation k varies from minus infinity to n, where del of k is n less than 0, n greater than 0. Okay, and summation all this. And last one is u of n equals to k varies from 0 to infinity, del of n minus k. So we will get this one. Okay, so this is a simple example that that is used to, it is not asked in the university exam, but for the practice purpose I have taken this. So we will move. Sequence form is x of n equals to that is 1 1 1 and 1, and arrowhead at first position. Okay, arrowhead at first position. So this is the sequence representation. Now how we can represent into graphical form? This is the graphical form of the representation of the given signal. So first example is y of n equals to x of n minus 1, that is the folding operation. Let us sketch x of n. Okay, so we have sketched x of n. Now this is clear that from the above diagram x of n is 1, from this is our definition, and for other values it is 0. So similarly x of n is 0 for n equals to minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Now we have x of n equals to minus n. Hence what we do, so n equals to 0, what we do, y of 0 equals to x of 0, that is 1. For n equals to 1, y of 1 equals to x of minus 1, that is 0. For n equals to 2, y of 2 equals to x of minus 2, that is 0. And last is n equals to 3, y of 3 equals to x of minus 3, and this will continue for the other values of n also. So for the positive values of n, now we are getting 0 values of y of 1, y of 2 and y of 3, and y of 0 is 1 because there is no any change of, we don't write minus 0 or plus 0, 0 is 0 only. Okay, so this is the first part when n is positive. Now when the n is negative, what will happen? See here, when n is negative, so for n minus 1, y of minus 1, x of minus will plus. So what was the value of x of 1? That is 1. Similarly, n equals to minus 2, y of minus 2, x of 2 is 1, minus 3, y of minus 3, x of 3 is 1, because minus minus become plus. N equals to minus 4, y of minus 4, x of 0 equals to 0. N equals to minus 5, y of minus 5, x of 5 is 0. So this is the graphical representation of the folding or reflection operation. This is known as the time reversal, folding or mirror image. Already we have seen in unit number 1. Only in place of continuous time you will have here discrete time. Okay, so compare the x of n and x of minus n, you will see the difference between the two. Okay, so what is the important application is required in convolution and effective algorithm. Okay, this is the very important concept of folding. Okay, similar, what happens in the folding, just we have to write down the sequence in the reverse order. See here, the sequence was x of n equals to 1, 1, 1 and 1. So for x of minus n, what will happen? Minus n, you will write the sequence in the reverse order and arrowhead at this position. This is the very easy to understand. Okay, or you can do by this method that I have discussed in this lecture. Okay, this is your choice. Now next is the delay operation. In the delay operation, y of n equals to x of n minus 1. So again we will go for n equals to greater than or equal to 0, that is positive values, as well as n equals to less than 0, that is negative values. So for n equals to 0, you will see here the value of x of minus 1 is 0. For n equals to 1, y of 1 equals to x of 1 minus 1, that is x of 0. I am discussing this part. Okay, and n equals to 6. So intermediate value, let us say n equals to 3. What will happen? Y of 3. Y of 3 is nothing but x of 3 minus 1, that is x of 2. And what is the original value of x of 2? That is 1. So 0, 1, 2 and last one is 3. And for 4, 5, you will see the 0 value. This is for the n is greater than or equal to 0. And for n is less than 0, what will happen? This complete thing will happen. Okay, this is the original signal and this is the shifted signal. So I will, okay, so simply what you observe when we perform the delay operation, the signal shifts forward. From the diagram you will see here, original is x of n, shifted is x of n minus 1. If you carefully observe both the signals A and B, then you will find that the second B signal, see here, delayed signal is shifted by one sample and this is the original signal. So what we do when we have to perform the, see here, I will represent x of n in the sequence form. In the sequence form I have here 1, 1, 1 and 1, arrowhead at the first position. Now I have to calculate x of n minus 1. So what I will do, I will write this sequence in as it is form 1, 1, 1, because amplitude will not change, and the arrowhead shifts backward by one sample. See here, at 0 the amplitude level is 0. At 1 the amplitude level is 1. At 2 amplitude level is 1. At 3 amplitude level is 1. At 4 amplitude level is 1. And in the original signal at 0 the amplitude level was 1. So this is known as the delay operation. Just in delay operation, what fundamental concept you have to remember, this factor is very important. If it is 2, how many times I will move the arrowhead backward? 2 times. If it is 3, then 3 times. If it is 1, then single time. Okay, so this is the delay operation. For the delay operation, the arrowhead should be moved backward side depending on the value of the constant. 1, if it is 1, then 1. If it is 2, 2 times. If it is 3, 3 times. If it is 4, 4 times, and so on. If it is k, then k times. Okay, k times you have to shift the arrowhead backward in case of the delay operation. Again, for the primary reasons, you just use this method that I have discussed earlier, but short means simple technique is this one. Okay, again we will move forward. This is known as the advancing operation, again for n greater than 0, and the next is n less than 0. So we will start at n equals to 0, y of 0 equals to x of 0 plus 1, that is 1. N equals to 1, this will happen. N equals to 2, x of 3, and n equals to 4, x of 5. And for the negative values we will have this one. Okay, so again you try this one for the primary reasons, but again I will tell you the very simple technique. Again I will represent x of n equals to 1 1 1. Originally the arrowhead was here. Now I have to calculate x of n plus 1. So what is the value of constant here? 1, but it is plus 1. So plus 1 means you have to move your arrowhead where now? Backward or forward? Forward. How many times? That will depends on the value of this constant. So this is the new result. So let us say the value of 1, in place of 1 there is 2, then 2 times I will move my arrowhead. If value of this constant is 3, then 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and 6 times, or k times simply. And if you observe this, okay, if you observe these two signals carefully, then you will see that when you perform the advancement operation, then the signal moves backward in the backward direction. Okay, from the original position. Okay, adding operation. This adding is by sample basis or instant by instant basis. So at n equals to 0, addition will occur for both the signals. N equals to 1, n equals to 2, n equals to 3, n equals to 4. Just it is the simple addition method. This is for n greater than or equal to 0. This is for n less than 0. Okay, so this is the addition. Now the scaling operation. Which scaling is this one? 2 into x of n. This is nothing but the amplitude scaling. So in the amplitude scaling, your amplitude of the original signal is multiplied by the constant factor. Here is the 2. So see here, all the amplitudes of the original was 1. Now it is multiplied by 2. So the resultant amplitude is 2. So this is known as the scaling operation. Okay, so it is very easy to understand the scaling operation. Last one is, so this is the complete discussion about our previous example. This is original signal, this is delayed signal, this is advancement, and this is addition. How addition is performed? See here, if you draw the projection, you will get the concept very simply. It is graphically, it will be helpful. At 3, the amplitude level is 1. Okay, but what we have to add? We have to add x of n minus 1. So we will consider only these two signal B and C. So at 3 there is 1, at 3 there is 0. So 1 plus 0 is 1. Similarly, at 4 there is 1, at 4 there is 0. So again 1 plus 0 is 1. At 2 you are having 1, at 2 here is 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2, here is 2, here is 1, and last one is 1. So just by drawing the projection you can perform the addition. Okay, you should use the rolling scale for this. It will be very helpful for you, it will be easy for you. Now consider the discrete time signal. This is another example derived in the 2.24. Sketch the following signal. First fold x of n and delay resulting signal by 4 samples. First delay x of n by 4 samples and then fold the resulting signal. So this is the original signal that is given for us. Now in the first part what we have to do? We have to fold it. So how we will fold this one? I will write this sequence in the reverse order. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 2 and 1 by 3. And where should be the arrowhead? Arrowhead should be at this position. Very easy. Folding is very easy in the sequence form or the discrete time signal form. Just write down the signal in the reverse order and don't change the position of the arrowhead. Okay, arrowhead will be at the 0th position for the both the signals. Okay, so then delay the resulting signal by the 4 samples that we will see, and the second one is the delay x of n by 4 samples and then fold the resulting signal. So again we will see in the next lecture. See, we have sketched x of n, we have folded this signal, and the folded signal is delayed by the 4 samples. So x of minus n minus 4. So the resultant is x of minus n plus 4. So how many times you will shift your arrowhead? 4 times. Now where backward or forward, this is very important. This diagram is very important. Pay attention here. You are in the mirror image. So what we have discussed in unit 1, when we are in the mirror image, all the things are reversed. So see here, you will see plus 4, but you have to move arrowhead backward by 4 times, and that's why you will get this signal. Okay, arrowhead backward. This is known as delay operation. Though it is plus 4, but as you are in the mirror, so that's why the arrowhead should be moved k times backward. Okay, remember this concept that we have already discussed in unit number 1. Similarly, sketch x of n delayed by 4 samples. See here, n minus 4 arrowhead is backward, and then folding of this. See, what is folding? Just exchange of amplitude between equal and opposite n. So here in the original signal the value of amplitude was 1 by 3 at 2, but in this resultant signal at minus 2 the value of amplitude is 1 by 3. So this is the simply exchange of amplitude. So for this, what I will do, x of minus n minus 4. See here, it looks like it is a delay operation, but as you are in the mirror, so you have to move arrowhead forward by 4 times. That's why I have specially taken example for this concept. Okay. So you have to be careful here. Simply there is no any intelligence part, there is no any very deep concept. If n plus k times forward fw, n minus k times backward, similarly minus n minus k, similarly minus n minus k. See here backward, but k times now forward because we are in the mirror, and minus n plus k times backward. This is the case for this. So this is very important concept. N plus k times forward, n minus k times backward, minus n minus k times forward, minus n plus k times backward. These 4 lines are very important. Okay. Addition of the discrete time signal, multiplication of discrete time signal, amplitude scaling of the discrete time signal, all it is done by projection purpose. See here, I will draw x1 of n, and next to it I will draw what, x2 of n, and by using projection I will find the resultant. So these 3 diagrams will help you to understand the concept properly that we have already seen. Next one is multiplication. Again the same thing. How you multiply x1 of n. First we will draw x1 of n, then we will draw x1 of n, then we will draw x2 of n, one after the another. X1 of n, we will draw the diagram, then we will draw x2 of n, and we will draw the projection by means of scale, and we will find the resultant. Okay. Now similarly we can do subtraction also, x1 of n minus x2 of n. Amplitude scaling we have already seen. Okay, this is the amplitude scaling. Now the time scaling of the discrete time signal, which is very important. So y of n equals to x of 2n. This is the time scaling. See here, x of n, I have to find x of 2n. So what we do, I have posted for this Yuvraj Singh video on for the unit number 1. Same video is applicable here. Same thing I am discussing. Only the issue is I am discussing here with the discrete time signal, not continuous time signal. Okay. So what I should do? I have x of n. I have to find x of 2n. So what I will do? I will represent this. I will draw one table. N 2n. So minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. How you will calculate this? Just we will discuss. X of n is 2 into n, and this is the x of n This is the x of n by 2. This is 2n. So what we do here, this is signal B diagram is the signal compression, C diagram is the signal expansion. This is fast forward and the C is the slow motion. Okay, so how we will find out this? It is very simple to understand that zeroth position will not change. Now originally at 1 you will have 0.5 minus 0.5, sorry, so 2 into 1 is 2, so 2 into 1, see here, at n equals to 1 in original signal x of n is minus 0.5. So now what is the x of 2n? X of 2n means 2 into 1. So x of 2, what is the value of x of 2? X of 2 is 1. So this 1 amplitude will represented at 1, will be replaced at 1, and this minus 0.5 is discarded. Okay, minus 0.5 is discarded. Okay, so this is known as the signal compression. So similarly for the negative part, again I will discuss here. At minus 2 originally minus 0.5, but when we use 2n, so minus 2 is replaced by minus 4. Why minus 4? Because of this 2n. So minus 4's amplitude is minus 0.5. See, in the resultant you will get here minus 0.5 and so on. Same thing is applicable for this n by 2. You can take help from our previous discussion also. This is already we have discussed in unit number 1. You take the help from that unit also. Same concept is applicable here. As it is, only a difference that in unit 1 we have seen the continuous time signal, but we are discussing the discrete time signal. Okay, so what is the conclusion of the today's discussion? First one is what we have seen, the n minus k, n plus k, this is delay, this is advancement. Okay, and x of minus n minus k, very important. This is not delay, this is advancement. And x of minus n plus k, that is delay. This is very important. Then we have seen the time scaling. X of n can be x of kn, can be x of n by k. In this the signal will compress, and here the signal will expand. Again same concept from unit number 1. Then we have seen the 4 forms of the x of n. One is the functional, another is sequence, then third one is the graph, and fourth one is the tabular. So we prefer graphical representation and the sequence form of the representation. Okay, And one more thing, we have discussed the addition of the two signals, subtraction of the two signals, multiplication of the two signals. So for that purpose, what we do, we have x1 of n, we graphically represent this as per the x1 of n. Then we are having x2 of n, we graphically represent this in the next to x1 of n. Below x1 of n, we will draw the projections, and as per the sample by sample, we will find either addition, then subtraction, or multiplication. So here we have finished our first part of unit number 3. Only convolution part of unit number 3 is remaining. That's why we have spent so much time on unit number 1, because unit 3 is just a discrete time version of the unit number 1. Already we have spent, I think so, 30 to 35 lectures on unit number 1. Okay, these first unit is very important for the signals and system, because you see in this discussion same concept we have seen, only the difference is in place of continuous time we have discrete time, and in place of now convolution integral we will have convolution sum. So see this video, see the concept and understand the concept properly, solve the examples that I have solved here on your book, and then you will get the concept. Otherwise, just by seeing the video you will not get any concept. So thank you. We will meet in the next lecture for the convolution sum part. Thank you very much. We will stop here.